good, what's good, what's good, fan base family, what's good, what's good, what's good. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. Hit that like, that subscribe, that thumbs up button. Make sure y'all definitely check the chat. Welcome to fan base. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another Friday evening hangout and chat where we shoot the breeze, talk about fan base, talk about what's in the news. We just chop it on this Friday, catch up. That's what we do on this Friday. But before we get started, make sure y'all definitely check in the chat. Fan base, you have things in the chat. Please make sure you join the camp. YouTube, please make sure you download fan base. The minimum to cash out is $5. The minimum to cash out is $5. Again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This was a crazy week. Also, before we get out the way, it is Friday. So right after this broadcast, we will be going to have game night. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe for your chance to win 1,000 loves over on my fan base page. $5 to cash out. Okay. And if you have not invested, we'll be going over all of that in a few. Ooh, y'all ain't seen me last Friday because your girl wasn't feeling good, and I did my morning room on Fanbase, and I just took the whole evening off. So we're back after a little break, back for a little break. But again, man, this week was a doozy, wasn't it a doozy? For those, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed, Ozzy Osbourne passed, then Hulk Hogan passed. Like, it's so much in the energy that spirit is cleansing. And I was out and about getting my fresh air like I do. Because, girl, y'all need to know. If y'all know, you know what I'm saying? If y'all know, I just did this video right here. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know, y'all know. I went for my daily walk. And when I tell you, I didn't even feel like going outside. My energy's been, you know what I'm saying, restless, sleepy, you know what I'm saying, a little restless, a little sleepy, or whatever the case may be. And, you know, when I first heard Malcolm Jamal Warner had passed away, now I'm normally, you know, I'm spiritually woke, so I'm already knowing when the energy shifts. Why was I walking today, and in my live video, as I'm walking, there's 3 ambulances that pass me. If anybody knows, things come in threes. There's something else coming. We not gonna act like we. For those new, if you want to fast forward, come back later. I'm Spiritualist Company. I am my sister's keeper LLC, Fanbase ambassador. What I do over here is talk about God's work, talk about the uplifting, and keeping us into our conscious nature and getting us in a better mindset. We will be doing some tarot and some energy card readings today as well. Live in a minute. Oh God, it's hot. It is hot. It's 100 degrees where I'm at. So I was walking, you know, I was walking, right? I was walking. And there's 3 ambulances that passed me. Now, last Friday, I was not feeling so good. And guess where I was? Yup. That morning, after the morning wellness check, I went to go get checked. Go to the doctor. They tell me everything okay. I'm okay. But I had a hospital stay not less than a month ago. Then lost 20 pounds. This energy is weird. It's weird and it's draining. And people say, well, why do you be by yourself? Why you know what I'm saying? I feel everybody's energy. I literally know when somebody likes me, don't like me, about to backstab me, phony. I sense it all. When I say I see all, I see all. And when your consciousness knows that some things is going on, you know what I'm saying? I learned to keep myself, at a distance and adjacent for energies. So for these past couple of weeks, I kind of pulled back my energy and just talk when necessary, listen, talk when necessary. When Malcolm Jamal Warner passed, I said there is something big in the air. If you do not know, Malcolm Jamal Warner had a page over here on Fanbase. Again. He just did an audio room not too long ago. Now, mind you, again, we're going to get into that part of the show too. Again, the energy's been off. So, day before yesterday, I had made a video, right? And I was stating the obvious in the room. And anybody that knows me, I'm going to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what it is. There is attractiveness bias. There is bias. If you look a certain way, if you're not getting a job, it's a lot going on. I'm calling it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm 45 and I'm just now getting to some similar of success. And I done had people tell me, oh, people don't like you because of your videos, or people don't like you because of this, because I don't like you because of that. Like, I get it, but it's really there. I would lose jobs. So when I pull back my energy, it's almost like it was a reset these last couple of months, because my birthday was March. Then it was some events that happened in March. Easter Sunday morning, woke up to a house fire across the street. These are chronological events where there was a fire. When I went to the hospital, not this time before I just told you, the time I stayed for a couple of days in the hospital, the day I went into the hospital, there was a big explosion in my city, Cleveland, Ohio, a big apartment complex explosion. And a man ended up dying later on, a couple weeks later, passing away from his injuries, saving his stepchildren. I'm telling you, God is not playing with y'all. The universe is not playing with y'all. He is cleansing the earth. You know what I'm saying? I too then got a whooping from spirit. See, this is when I talk from experience. You know what I'm saying? These book smarts is not gonna save you from what's initially going on. It's not going to save you from what's initially going on. It's not. I'm so tired. Thought I put some stuff in the chat and didn't even put the stuff in the chat on Fanbase. You see what I'm saying? Baby, when I tell you, the energy has been off. The energy is not playing. God is cleaning house. Do you hear me? Y'all, I don't think y'all really understand like what's really going on. Like, we like, oh, so many deaths. Like, and people are so demonic, they want Donald Trump to pass away. Now, what I will not do, okay, let me explain that. What I will not do is sit up here, right, and act like I know it all, right? But this is where you got to use your discernment. This is where you got to learn to listen to your gut instincts. Okay? When you manifest stuff like that, it's a chance that it could backfire on you. I'm just keeping it real. But when I say that, people are like, oh my God, like, you should wish death upon people. He doing this, he doing that. Let God take care of it. We are not, I repeat, we are not in as deep as trouble as you think. Spirit is just cleaning house. Hey, welcome. Yeah, it's medicine. God is cleaning house. Thank you for that statement. Because he's cleaning the house. Like, what we need to do is focus on the solutions, right? That, you know what I'm saying? That's what we need to focus on. But again, a lot of people, even when I present this, thank you for telling me to hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you for the like button. When I tell people and I call people out on their BS, I'm crazy, I'm delusional, I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I've noticed since I pulled back my energy, God has been handling things for me. You know what I'm saying? When I mentioned Fanbase, we talking about, now we're going into Fanbase. Fanbase is a social media app where you can import your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, make money, and you can invest. We're going to be going over that. But when I say as a community, as welcoming as a whole, and I'm an investor, right? We talking about TikTok. We talking about the problems in general. I got so much to say, but it's just, I'm like, spirit, like, slow down, get it out. The minimum cash on this platform is $5. In my city, it takes $5 to get an all-day bus pass. Now, that gets you to the doctor's office, that gets you to the grocery store, that gets you to your kid's school, that gets you to your job, right? But we so worried about what it look like, what it be's like. Fanbase is independent. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. We're independent. Right? We're independent. But again, that's how I know for a fact that God is cleansing the house. Period. The veil has come off. Public figure, this ain't got nothing to do with rights. This got something to do with the spirit. See, that's the problem. Thank you. That's the problem. We tend to, when God blesses us with information, because a lot of people have been told that if you don't go to school, you ain't shit. If you don't have a degree, you ain't shit. If you ain't got a job, you ain't shit. If you ain't married, you ain't shit. If you don't go to a specific church or group, you ain't shit. Y'all don't hear me? If you don't go to a Pacific group, if you don't belong to a Pacific club, notice how they switch your brain over by putting you in preschool as early as 3 to 4 years of age. Think about that. They take away your freedom of thinking. They take away your freedom of thoughts. Right? But again, they so deep in it that they don't understand help is here. And so a lot of people are going to be like that movie, Left Behind. And you like, well, what You know, what you mean left behind? They're spiritually left behind. They're not able to grasp that on this timeline, right? Because I've noticed the shifts, energy shifts goes in threes. Every 3 years, every 4 years, right? Your actual timeline starts on your birthday. That is your actual timeline. That is your actual timeline. But again, when you go into the rhythm, of what the world is, it feels heck of a difference that you feel it's a weight lifted off of you, right? You're less anxious. When you move on your timeline, you feel anxious. You feel lighter. You feel freer. You feel less anxious. Okay? You feel less anxious. They don't want you to take a breather. They don't want you to slow down. They don't want to have any freedom of thought, such as there is energy discrimination disguised as ugliness. As described as anxiousness. So again, when I say what I say about what I know what I know, and you can't distort it. They're medicating a lot of the spiritual people. Let me repeat that. A lot of the spiritual woke people that's here to assist is being medicated. It's being medicated, right? It's being medicated. It's being medicated. Let's go ahead and get into this energy. Man, this week. Baby, this week. I need for people to understand that people, I need for people to understand. We finna get into this energy, but before we get into this energy, small commercial break, make sure y'all hit that subscribe, make sure y'all check that chat. Make sure y'all download Fanbase. This is Friday evening. Hey, got the chat. We were not here last week, but we're back. We're back. I've learned that I do not belong in the regular world. And at first, it used to bother me. But isolation and dealing with people on God's terms has been so peaceful. It has been so peaceful. Fanbase, if you want a tarot card read it, those are the prices. Those are the prices. Babe, I'm telling you, I can't do this. Y'all, we gotta do better. Let's go ahead and get into this energy. Don't have to wait till Sunday. Hey. I told you, for those coming in, what did I tell you? The energy, God cleanses itself. Those deaths that happen a couple days apart is God is resetting the energy. Is resetting the energy. Death and rebirth. Ooh. Two of Swords. Somebody don't even see this death and rebirth coming. Eight of Swords in reverse. Now, mind you, if God want me to read in reverse, it is what it is. Clarify death and rebirth. Yeah, official person. Somebody being branded Two of Swords. This is a concern. Somebody don't see it coming. Clarify the Nine of Swords in reverse. Great fortune. That's great fortune. Official person. This is a concern that somebody is leveling up and somebody being left behind. Because it's death and rebirth. It's death and rebirth. Somebody being left behind. And that's just period. I don't know how else to say it. For those coming in. They having wishful thinking. If I'm concerned. Because they don't know what you doing in this isolation period. They don't have no clue that you leveling up. That you not leveling up, you done leveled up. Spiritually, emotionally. Clarify something, well. Like I said, they're drowning because you didn't leveled up. And that's just period. They drowned it in their emotions because you because you didn't leveled up. Clarify wishful thinking. Karmic love. Yeah. You starting to see this person as a karmic and not your person. And now they like, oh, they put a love spell on me. They feeling fed up. And they feeling trapped. Man, y'all, it's one of them days. It's like 100 degrees in Ohio. Hey Siri, what's the weather? Yeah. They been in hermit thinking about this love spill they been in. Clarify fed up. Six of Wands. Clarify traps. They want to come in and give you some love. They do love you, but they stuck. Like I said, clarified by trap. Stuck. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Clarify the Hermit. Clarify the Hermit. Clarify the Hermit. Yeah. Privileged lady in reverse. Yeah. Somebody don't want to deal with somebody that once was a privileged lady. Clarify the Six of Wands. Yeah. Because they got this Nine of Cups. You know what I'm saying? They got this Knight of Cups. But they ain't privileged lady in reverse. Clarify the Six of Wands. Yeah. Lovers. I told you. They love you. You know what I'm saying? They got emotions and they love you. But like I said, they in this night, in this hangman position, feeling trapped. Yeah. In despair. They doing that. I wish I would have married you. I wish I would have proposed to you. I wish. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Privileged lady in reverse. Got them stagnant. She not. Clarify lovers. Oh my goodness, my finger. Y'all. Clarify lovers. Yeah. Because they love you, they had to learn to how to put up boundaries. You know what I'm saying? They had to put up boundaries. Clarify despair. Yeah, despair. Suffering in silence. Clarify stagnant. Oh, my finger. Workplace affair. Yeah, this was somebody that they work with. Clarify boundaries. You are Queen Bee. Period. Clarify suffering in silence. They love the Queen Bee. Period. Oh, they suffering in silence because they see that you in isolation, you in hermit, you pouring into yourself, you loving yourself, you're not really focused on them. You like, okay, if you're gonna be where you're gonna be, you told me you don't want me, you ain't gotta keep telling me you don't want me, you gotta keep showing me you don't want me. So I'm pouring myself love. That's why that sudden wealth came out here. Yeah. That's why that sudden wealth came out here, because you get into the bag. And they really can't see what you're doing in silence. Clarify workplace affair. Welcome, everybody. We getting ready to go over fan base. We just chatting. Friday evening hangout and chat is just that. We chat, chill, talk about fan base, whole nine. Yeah. You knew this the whole time. You knew this the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You knew it was about money. And now, because they ain't do you right, now they money funny. That's why they suffering in silence. They suffering in silence because they money funny. They suffering in silence because they got with somebody that they thought that was better than you. And see, they went off of superficial, shallow reasons. That's what happened when you pray for a gift and God can send you a gift. Yeah. Ooh. Queen of Swords. They see that you've been pouring self-love in yourself. Now you in the Queen of Swords energy. You like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Never mind. You ain't gotta keep telling me you don't love me. I love me. You know what I'm saying? I love me. Look what's on the bottom of this deck, though. On the bottom of this deck. I love you. And then, look. Shocking news. So they love you. And this is shocking news. Man. Clarify high priestess. Yeah. You the high priestess. You the queen bee. You know what I'm saying? That's the second money card. Clarify page of pentacles. 4 of pentacles. Clarify 4 of pentacles. 4 of pentacles. Clarify 4 of pentacles. Great fortune. Come on now. Queen of Swords. Come on now. Clarify Queen of Swords. Come on now. Now they looking at you. They looking at you with high honor. Cause look. Unexpected income. Great fortune. High priestess is out here. They suffering in silence because they see that you blowing up. They, you know what I'm saying? They love you, but they ain't got themselves in a situation. Clarify great fortune. Clarify unexpected. Clarify unexpected income. Unexpected income. Child is hot. Clarify unexpected income. You did what you said you was gonna do. Yeah. They got a whole family. Clarify great fortune mask. Yeah. They had a mask on. Clarify high honor. Like I said, your money doing fine because you didn't put self-love in. Now they realizing they love you after they didn't started a whole family. But still want to put you second. Yeah, this causing a lot of tension. That somebody looks at you like high honor. Oh. Yeah. The person they got a family with trying to sweet talk them. But they got, first thing, got to take accountability. Family came out again. Yeah, you found out they had a family. You know what I'm saying? They try to sweet talk you. Now third, the other individual is trying to sweet talk them that they got a family with. They over there wearing a whole mask. They wearing a whole mask. Do you hear me? A whole mask. They don't even love the person. They care about them. And see, that's another thing that you know what I'm saying? People can care about people and still do some foul shit. You know what I'm saying? Clarify tension. Like I said, what did I just say? It's about, the tension is about a family. Family came out twice. You know what I'm saying? This is shocking news that somebody love you. It's shocking. It's just shocking. Clarify sweet talk. This got somebody in this emotion. Heartbroken. Clarify family. 10 of Wands. Ten of Swords. Yeah. They walking away from a family. Justice. You know what I'm saying? Justice because you knew what you know, what you was talking about. Because notice, family came out here and then pregnancy test. DNA. Yeah. Justice. Yeah. Like, you knew they had a, you know what I'm saying? Once you had it, you found they had a family, you distance yourself. Like, nah. Yeah. This person is a thief, and they're dealing with a thief. So, when I say they got somebody that matched their energy, they did. That's what happened when you be all about the money. Yeah. Your job is looking up. Your money is looking up. Justice. Yeah. Now they over there having legal situations, court situations. You know what I'm saying? It's been kind of quiet on the internet, but all that popping off and showing off, my man, my man, my man. It ain't what it looking like. It ain't what it looking like. Clarify, thief. Oh my goodness. Clarify, thief. Yeah, you healing. You healing. You didn't heal from this. You done made peace with it. You done made peace with not getting an apology. You made peace with you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. What's good? Occupation. Smell the roses in reverse. Again, you're healing. It's not happy over there. They're not smelling no roses. About this court situation. Clarify court. Recharge in reverse. Again, this court situation, they all messed up. Yeah, this somebody they got married to. Oh my goodness. Okay. Clarify, smell the roses in reverse. This been illuminated that this was a whole fairy tale. This wasn't even a real relationship. It was a fairy tale. It was fake. It was make-believe. Recharge and reverse. Yeah, they losing sleep. That's why I just said recharge and reverse. They losing sleep over the debacle they got themselves into. Married with a child. I'm telling you. They only married that person because they had a child with them. Yeah. They want to be your main meal. Losing sleep. Poverty. Yeah, they losing sleep because they in poverty. Clarify, child. They money ain't right over there. Yours is rising, while theirs is decreasing because the page of Pentacles and already came out here. So they money is definitely getting funny. Yeah. Four of Swords. It's not happy in paradise. Clarify main meal. Yeah. They want to pack their bags and get away. The decision has been made. You see that red right there? The decision has been already made by the universe. That's why I'm saying at this time, God had wanted you to focus on yourself. To get your house in order, yourself in order. And they was meant to go off of their and do what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? So don't take this as a loss. Yeah. Toxic. Over there miserable and it's toxic. Love affair that turned into a marriage. Basically a marriage out of convenience, a marriage out of money. That's it. That's it. That's all. Clear up at 7 of Cups. Yeah, they cutting ties. They cutting ties. They cutting ties. Let's get their true intentions, some love cards, and go on and let's go see what's going on Fanbase. What's good? What's good? If you new, welcome. If you returning, look, Archangel Michael. Period. Period. Archangel. Let's get their true intentions. Ooh. We are streaming live on Fanbase. Like I said, I know people don't stick around. Just be true intentions. Ooh. Ooh. They've been getting some. Oh, my fingers are cramping. Yeah. What had happened was they went over there and they got some bad advice. Marry her because you pregnant. It was, they got bad advice. It's just like say that. You know what I'm saying? Bad advice dealing with this toxic person. Now they want to come in and check in with you. And now they want to talk about the future with you. Let's get some soul card energy. Yeah. They had to have a willingness to change. You know what I'm saying? Check in. Child, I'm sweating and I wasn't a sweater until I got up in age. Baby, I am soaked right now. Spirit is saying trust that everything is going to be okay when they call and they check in. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Oof. My fingers. Oh. They had to take care of their priorities. You know what I'm saying? They had to take care of their priorities, and they had to choose to put you as a priority. They had to learn how to set boundaries, set balances, you know what I'm saying, the whole nine. Oh. Lovers at the bottom of the deck. The Hierophant and the High Priestess out here, yeah, they had a spiritual awakening. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. The Star and the King of Pentacles. So they figured out the reason why they was having money trouble, because they was dealing in the wrong energy. You know what I'm saying? When you not aligned with spirit, spirit is not going to align you with money. That's going to stay anyway. Yeah. They know they on the right path dealing with you. Again. The Hierophant. They know. Yeah. A house situation. They was in their head. They ain't no more thinking about they taking action. Oh my God. Clarify path. Yeah, this gonna have somebody shattered, but that's life cycle. They be all in the house daydreaming about you. Hopeful thinking. Let's get one more cycle. We're gonna get some lovers cards, because it is extremely hot, y'all. The divine feminine. They're going right. But you had to be in your Queen of Swords energy. Yeah, legal situation. Yeah, told you. Clarify, hopeful. Oh my God. Spiritual gifts. Yeah, they know that you got the spiritual gifts, and they notice that they got spiritual gifts too. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was getting lovers cards. Cha. Watch out. Oh. Yeah, they had some addictions. In fact, they let go of some addictions, and now they're addicted to you, divine feminites. Clarify. Yeah, they was in a karmic relationship. This karmic relationship led to a lot of legal issues. Spiritual. love, and we gonna end it right there. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the show. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, if you are listening on the payback way back, make sure you tap in, tap in, tap in. Okay. If you have not invested, the investment link is in the chats. Is in the chat for both parties. Okay, so definitely you want to take advantage of that. The minimum to invest is $3.99. Somebody just downloaded the app while I was out today, so people are okay. It's too hot to even be talking. Updated the notification system. Okay, so these are the different reward tiers if you invest in Fanbase. Those are the different rewards tiers. Okay. Like I said. Yeah. So these are the different reward tiers for you guys to invest, okay? You know, ooh, man, it is hot. Okay, these are the different rewards tiers, okay, to invest in. Everything is available in this link tree. On the playback way bit. Okay. So that's my link tree. Okay. My company, I am my sister keeper LLC. What's good, Lowski? I'm getting all my videos strike, like TikTok made it to where you can't pay live in music. I mean, music on lives no more. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I definitely would download Fanbase, okay? These are my Fanbase Plus videos. What's up, Fanbase family? Welcome to my channel, my beloved TV. This is another episode of I Was Just Thinking. And I was just thinking social media and mental health. Social media and mental health. This topic has been on the tip of my tongue for a minute. And I'm just going to call it out. Mental health is bad with social media and reality. People that are disconnected, are depressed, are having a hard time. Reality, people such as myself that look as myself, we're going to call it out. There's ugliness, bias. I don't care how smart you are, how beautiful you are, how, you know what I'm saying, anything you put your hard work to, you're going to be discriminated against in the real world. And that is the case. They say I've been doing social media for over 11 years. I'm 45, and in my lifetime, I've dealt with discrimination as far as my looks, my confidence, my skill sets, and so much more. I am a fan-based ambassador, community leader. I also have a company. I am my sister's keeper, LLC. I know much about budgeting, surviving, and being who you are, but because it's coming from me, no one is listening. The things that we are ingesting, the things that people are saying, we are disconnected, and there's no love and real care. People come into your life, backstab you, betray you. So that is why I do what I do. I just wanted to call this out because it's just been on my mind that, you know what I'm saying, I'm blessed. Thank you for all the love and support that you guys give me. But I'm going to call it out. There's ugliness bias. There's bias. Period. You could be the book smart in the word, and if you're not being a clown or buffoonery or doing anything out your character, you're not classified. Also, you're not put on the front of magazines. You're not put on the front of social media apps. You're not put on any references of follows. So that was my thought. I was just thinking, comment down below if you guys are feeling the same way. Do you see the same ways, the bias? That is why I do what I do when I'm going to stay, and I'm going to continue to be on fan base, and I'm going to continue to be a voice. RIP to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I've been crying all day in the last couple of days. And, you know, I'm just going to call it out. The loneliness is setting me, and I'm loving myself, but I'm also understanding. I'm grieving the loss of understanding that this world is not what it seems. So, my rooms are today at 3:30. We have What Do You Love About Fanbase, onboarding, learning, live streaming, stream on YouTube, in the audio room at the Queen Most Loved in Camp. Also, like I said, I'm here 24/7. If you guys need anything, emotional support, or anything of that nature. With that being said, again, there is there is a disconnect with the bias in the community. There is. We're not gonna say it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's book smart, street smart, whatever. If you don't look a certain way, you're not gonna get anywhere. I don't care how hard you work. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get anywhere. I'm gonna continue on doing my spiritual work. I'm gonna continue on doing my tarot card energy reads and speaking the spirit and speaking to God and delivering His word. So that's what my page is about. So please make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe for your chance to win 1,000 loves. Again, this emotional bias, you know what I'm saying? If you don't look a certain way, you can't be a certain way, no matter how much you know. This is the real world, and I'm gonna call it out, and it's gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable. But I don't give a fuck because it needs to be fucking said that you people are monsters and you really don't care. For those that love and support, continue on spreading God's word. And for those chosen ones, keep on pushing on because God loves us, God guides us, and one day at a time. 6,000 is an army. Please make sure you subscribe. My goal is 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for my 10 subscribers. Again, this ugliness bias has to stop, and it stops with me. So if you need anything, customer service, check your phone. Fanbase Ambassador Queen Mo here daily for love, support, and just downright just doing things. Also, my morning wellness room is a quiet room. My evening rooms are quiet rooms, so we can get our thoughts and processes together. Again, what do you love about Fanbase is onboarding, learning, live, up-to-date news, all things Fanbase, and speaking positivity unto the universe. Fan base is love. This Sunday, there is Cash Out Sundays on Fan Base this Sunday at every last Sunday of the month. So you will be dropping in the comments of the live video how much you need to cash out, and I will be cashing people out again. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I just had to get this out. Like, I really had to get this out because I could put on videos, lives. I'm continuing on saying what I gotta say. So, you guys, Enjoy your day. Fanbase partnership program. If you are a business or organization and you want to partner with Fanbase, be sure to click the link in my bio. If you have any questions, please by all means ask me. Okay. Tomorrow is Saturday. It's Miss Queen Mo in the building. Yes, I'm in the fan base streets, and you know what time it is. We have movies, TV nights, game nights, also morning wellness check, Monday through Friday, Saturday movie nights at 9, women's group every Wednesday at 9. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button for your chance to win 1,000 loves. That's right, your girl is dropping them loves in that heart. And be sure to stay tuned to have your notifications on, because I'm definitely in the streets. What's up, everybody? This is Miss Queen Mo in the building. Yes, I'm in the fan base streets, and you know what time it is. We have movies, TV nights, game nights, also morning wellness check, Monday through Friday, Saturday movie nights at 9, women's group every Wednesday at 9. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button for your chance to win 1,000 loves. That's right, your girl is dropping them loves in that heart. And be sure to stay tuned to have your notifications on, because I'm definitely in the streets. Okay, I do have plenty of subscriber content. This is the live Malcolm Jamal Warner audio room. I streamed that podcast, so definitely tap in. I have that as well. Okay. Audio rooms. These are different audio rooms. We are farmers. You can watch from the web. Okay. You can watch from the web. Okay. We are farmers. Y'all is funny. Okay. Okay. What's going on in here? Isaac is in that room.
A good actor by being a student of people, and I think that's partly what he's bringing to bear. That he's like looking deeply at people and really paying attention to others. And I think some of us get stuck only thinking about ourselves. And you know, it's admirable when you can spend more time thinking about others. And I think that he was able to like see others in a way that allowed him to really, replicate other people. We actually had a really open and frank conversation about Malcolm and Eddie, which was totally different than his Cosby experience.
Can you break it down? Because these are the things that people should know about.
He said we hated each other, referring to him and Eddie. And the way he explained it was that he Malcolm had come from the Cosby School in that on the Cosby Show was very important to show black people in a positive, uplifting, empowering light. And that show was amazing for that. And he wanted to bring that forward through the rest of his television life. And he wanted Malcolm and Eddie to be like these. And he's like, on Cosby Show, we had mostly white writers. We got shitty scripts, and he had to go in there and like change stuff. Like, so don't think like everything was just handed to us. So, it seems like Eddie, per Malcolm's description, came from more of the Richard Pryor school of things, and I am the biggest Richard Pryor fan there is. But I think by that he meant just go for the funny, and I could see where Eddie would be like, let's just make them laugh, and Malcolm would be like, but we could also uplift and educate and do so much more within the broadcast and the fabric of, and Eddie being like, nigga, can we just make them laugh? You know what I mean? And like, but Malcolm held to his principles and the way that he felt like television should be done, which is that it should be uplifting to black people. And that was a big source of the conflict between them.
Yeah. Listen, I know that you have to get out of here. We've got other guests. I just wanna thank you, but we can certainly identify, especially when we select guests. Which, by the way, Tori was going to be one of our next guests in August. But Lane, if you just could explain how the guest selection process was very intentional, because Malcolm would be like, no, we're not having. We want that person?
Yeah.
What do they represent?
It was always very intentional, and sometimes it was very grueling, right? It could go on for hours, but honestly, we put a lot of thought to it. Malcolm put a lot of thought to it. So, so even pulling you out of the hat, it was like, oh, he's perfect. Actually, we didn't think too much about you, actually. It was just like,
yeah, you were not a 3-hour person. And
no, you were not. You were a quick We kind of went over and rushed over.
Pause, brother. But it's such an honor for Malcolm to think that of me, because I thought that of him for my show, and the entire time that I knew who he was, I thought of him, from teenagers as like, just dope person, thought the world of him, and then to meet him and for you to say like he wanted to talk to me like that, like forget about it. Oh my God.
And another thing he was very big and intentional on is, well, what are we going to talk about, and what's going to be the lesson for our audience. But again, with you, that didn't occur at all. It was like, let's go, Greenlit, let's do it.
Right.
Oh,
So
that means a lot. That means a lot.
we thank you for tonight, sir. And we're going to let you go, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. So sorry for your loss.
All right, thank you.
So much.
Yeah. All right. As we move on, we know that there are some people that want to jump on. I think that do we have Danny still? I mean, we're talking about someone from the community who wants to get on. Is Danny? We can pop up Danny. Listen, folks, when you get on, you have about a minute and a half. We know that's not a lot, but it allows us to get more people on. Hello, how are you doing?
I was muted. Hi.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you with a smile on your face. I know why Danny got in. Danny got in because you worked on The Resident, and you were Malcolm's makeup artist. And let me tell you, makeup artists, we get to know a lot of information. Very intentional and intentional. We just open up to makeup artists, and I know that you had a lot of thoughts about Malcolm. And we're very close to people.
Yes, I was. Malcolm was a phenomenal person. He was a phenomenal human being. So I wrote this post about how I felt about him on my page, but I wrote about his character today specifically for this, and I wanted to share that with you guys.
All right.
So I wrote that he was sophisticated, regal, intelligent, multifaceted, honest, disciplined, and authentic. These are my favorite adjectives that I like to use to describe him. His personality and smile was infectious. The level of integrity and grace that he continually showcased could have actually been a case study. His compromise couldn't touch him with a 1,000-foot pole. stood firm on core principles that mattered most to him, like culture, um, character, love, vulnerability, and masculinity. He handled people with caution and care, regardless of their tenure with him. His light ignited hearts and the hearts and minds of millions across the world. He was indeed one of a kind, a magnificent example of brilliance personified. His legacy is a standard of excellence that is both inspiring and impactful. Although God called him home, his purpose, kindness, and impact will live on. Rest well, MJW.
I also know that, Tori talked about him going into writer's room and saying, hey, this script right here, yeah, not so much.
Oh, yeah.
You did this, you
Oh,
saw.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they would write something. So, in our industry, they have these things called sides. So, which is basically like what you're talking about for the day. So he'd look at it, and then if it was something that was ridiculous, he'd like storm in there, and he's like, man, they must change this. Like, if it was not about, if it wasn't about what was effective for the culture, everything that he did was intentional. I think I heard like Lane say that was a core principle of his. So it was bigger than him. So if he's seeing something that didn't sit well with him, he was gonna amplify it. He was gonna change it. So it really wasn't about him. How does this translate to the culture? How does this benefit Black men? How does this benefit Black women? He was very much that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I also know that he was about family. I know that's going to be a theme. He was about family. So, I know that people, when they hear about, his passing and all of these mixed reviews, I mean, the one thing that we just need to explain is how much family meant to this man. I mean, it was never a day, never a time. He wrote me once, he said, am I mentioning my family too much on this? I said, go with it, brother. That is okay. Go with it. I want to hear that. I was like, tell your story, It is okay to your wife and daughter every other week.
He absolutely adored his daughter. He adored his mom. He adored his wife. Like, that's just who he was. His dad, he would always, talk about the man that he is and, the origin of his name. And he loved family, but also he loved people. So he's a person that, when he would go out somewhere and dog tired, because Malcolm was like always falling asleep somewhere on set. He's like off in the corner somewhere asleep because it's a million and one things like juggling in the air. He's like has a set at a show. He's like practicing for one thing. He's like reading lines for another show, and while he's on a show, and he's just had all these things going on, and so he'd be dog tired, and he never called his fans fans. He never did that. He never did that. So if someone would come up to him and be like, "Oh my God, Theo," in the industry that I work in, if you call an actor by their name, like their stage name, they hate that. He was never that. So you'd be like, "Oh my God, Theo, can I get a selfie?" He'd say, "Sure, sure." You're gonna never see him attached to a scandal. He would never take a role that was like, that misappropriated the culture. Like you won't see him playing a drug dealer, or you'll never see him playing, womanizer, or anything that misappropriates or any misrepresentation of a Black male or the culture, at large. He'd never do it.
Danny, I want to thank you. For being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, I know that we in the back of all this we have LeBron, and he is working us through those folks who are going to be on air. After this next guest, we are really going to pull people from the community, or do we want to do that now? I just want to make sure that I know exactly where we are.
Pull one more. Let's pull one more.
Yeah. So, Dr. J. Barnett, is he in the house already? Many of you might know Dr. J. Barnett from Just Feel Bro. And All right, I see you shaking your head, Troy. Yeah, he's the one. He's the one because what we are experiencing is a collective grief. I finally kind of came up for air today to call people back, and the people who I was on the phone with did not know Malcolm personally. They were crying hard. They were crying, and they were just so profoundly moved by who he was as a person. And I think that that's also the effect that we saw, Lane, when we would go out, because people weren't just, screaming at him like needles. They were like, I am proud of you, like my son, my brother, my person. That's exactly how it was.
It was.
All right, real quick, I'm trying to get Jason on.
Yes.
So give me a moment.
Sure, Dr. D. That's all right. Go ahead, Lane. You were talking about,
Oh no, I was going to springboard off of what you said. Like sometimes, honestly, being out with Malcolm, it was like being out with the Beatles. Sometimes, the moment that someone recognizes him, and it was like a magnet. But it was always great praise, and it was always the conversation of how you changed my life. And it was moving.
Yeah. Troy, you remember that time where we had a guest and he was actually moved by Bill Cosby Show, the history of it. He broke down crying. And then what did Malcolm do?
Malcolm actually, it's Uncle Mike, it's Ray Daniels' uncle. Malcolm actually called Bill Cosby on the phone right away because his story resonated with the story that Bill Cosby was showing at the time about people in the Navy. Uncle Mike was in the Navy at the time. So he was able to just sit there and talk to him, I want to say for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that to me was so golden, but it kind of just showed and personified the person that Malcolm is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not that Malcolm usually did either. So it was funny when he did that. It was so quiet because I remember you saying, I thought he had a doctor's appointment and he was talking to his doctor about something because he said, hold on, doctor. And then he came back and he handed over the phone and it was Bill Cosby on the phone.
Dr. Bill Cosby, right. Yeah, I was mistaken. I said, wait, there's a problem, There's a doctor speaking to a doctor. I was all wrong. But, what he did for that man at that moment, just after he got off, he said, I've never done that before, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people come to him and say, But at that point, it's like, this man is broken down in tears. Malcolm was a connector. Malcolm was a connector of people. You would see something, you would see somebody, and you would say, you know what? I've got something for you. I've got help for you. I've got a person for you. Oh, good. We've got someone on here. It's good to see you. We would love to be on. Uh-oh.
It's hard to hear you. I know this is Big Bear though.
Uh-oh, we're having a little problem hearing you. Want to get a little closer for us? He's almost there. All right.
Come in a little closer.
No, it's not him. It's on our end. It's not capturing his sound for some reason.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's on as we talk. Because, Malcolm definitely was a connector of people, and we saw that all the time. When we would have our podcast, people would come and record. And when they would record, they would always stay a little while, right? I know Troy loves that because it felt like home, and that really was, in large part, because of Malcolm, and he could stay. All right, can we have you talk and we'll get a test on you, sir? Okay, it's still an issue on our end, Laron?
Oh, let me
Yes, we can hear you.
No, go ahead, sir. We heard you.
Yeah,
All right,
we
go
heard you.
ahead. Sir, good to see you. The mic is open for you to share about Malcolm. Okay.
We can hear you, Big Bear.
Yes, it
that's
is.
Candace.
I met Malcolm in 1990. My friend, my brother Bowen Shaw was on a video, and Malcolm was the director. And one of the cameras broke down, and so we were able to talk. And it was just amazing that I mean, this young man, he's younger than me, but I watched him on TV. And now listening to him talking, and he was just the humblest person. Asked us if we wanted to come down to the Cosby Show, and we went down there. I met Mr. Cosby and everybody, and I can't remember which episode it was we went to the station, but we stayed connected. He plugged me in to the photographer that I got my headshot, you know, my Instagram, Big Bears everywhere. I got my headshot on there, and he started this podcast. And we reconnected last year at the live. I think it might have been the first live taping of the podcast.
Yep, in New Jersey.
Like, it's like we just know each other before. And from that, we exchanged numbers again, and we stayed in contact at least every couple of weeks before. And I knew about the vacation. We had talked about it once we met. But tragically, my son, he died by suicide, and we started the foundation on my son, Knock, and I had been talking about him bringing the band to one of our events. And when I got the news, I got home from work, and I took a nap. And when I woke up, my phone had like 15, 16 messages. When I looked, I was like, nah, somebody playing around. Then I made my phone calls to people. And I got the news. Today's Friday. I'm still in the fog. I'm working now. I'm still in the fog about everything. And it's just unbelievable. He was a very humble guy, gracious. He made you feel, and you know, more important. Like, a couple of times he would text me and call me like, man, you know, apologize when I get back. And I was like, man, I already know it's going to be done. You'll get it. We just have to just his character. What did you feel good?
That's right. That's right. You know what? Looking at you, I now remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well,
You
listen.
remember Big Bear?
That's how I knew exactly who he was as soon as he came on.
And I'll be back there and hopefully that he's done now. That's going to be out there even more. It's like that. Why could the files and everything have been done while he was here?
Yeah.
More people can do about all that. Now, the mass is know.
Well, I want to jump in because we have space for other folks to also share stories like you. I actually have some great pictures of you. I want to send you from that day. But we are going to let you go now. We have other people that are on. We just want to thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Big Bear.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. So I do have some good pictures if anything back to me. But Dr. J. Barnett is coming up next. As we work up, our next person is going to share some personal stories or just, what they love about Malcolm. Dr. J. Barnett, is he available? I think that he is on the line. His story was like many stories. I mean, it could be just years going by, and Malcolm would take you back into his home. We saw it a lot of times. I do remember them. I mean, they embraced, they looked at each other, I remember that very well. I've got some big pictures. We did a lot of live events where we could see people come out. That time we were out with Raheem Devon in New Jersey, and we were talking about issues about mental health and understanding where we came from and what's in our DNA and how do we fix problems. Again, something in terms of a show content that Malcolm curated, if you will. This is something that he wanted to do and he thought was
Somewhere, someone got numbers. Take a gander. Good talk.
All right, so a lot of people that have seen Malcolm on The Resident, they love that guy. All right, let's bring Jessica up. Just a moment. Hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
All right, we are hanging in there, Jessica. I know that you have a lot to say. We're so excited to be on here with us tonight. We're just going to open up the floor like we have done with other people tonight to share with us just some of your thoughts. Thank you for sharing those pictures with us. It must have been great to work with Malcolm, I can imagine. Very excited to say, bring me on tonight.
Yeah, no, I had the privilege of working with him for 5 seasons. And, as you know, he was a brilliant surgeon, and I was always his funny little scrub nurse in the surgery scenes. But something I've kind of been reflecting on since, I got the news, is, it's so, I don't know what the right word is, if the word is like strange or set. I think it encouraged others to treat everybody that way. He led by example. And so the set, I think because of him, was such a great, fun place to work where we really, really cared about one another.
Do you have some personal stories or funny on-set stories about Malcolm? You know, he could be serious, but he could also, you know, be very playful, and you're like, wait, where did that come from?
Oh my god, he's the goofiest. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, at the end of, like, leaving his, okay, I have so many stories. I think something that I'll probably always associate with Malcolm is the sound of a trumpet. And he was determined to learn how to play the trumpet. And I think it was like toward the end of season 4, if I remember correctly, maybe the beginning of season 5. And look, I'll be honest with you, he wasn't very good at first. He wasn't. And you know what though? He didn't care. And he wanted to learn how to play it. And so he would be in his trailer and he would squeak along and we all had to kind of endure it, you know. But it came to be something that was a real comfort. Like whenever I'd pull up to set and I would hear it, I'd be like, oh, Malcolm's here, great. But he really improved though. I remember coming back for season 6 and I grabbed my car and I heard the trumpet and I was like, he's better now. Like he really got better. And I think that is such a testament to his work ethic and also to the fact that he wanted to learn how to do it and he didn't care if someone else was like judging him. It was something he wanted to do and he did it and he was relentless and he really improved. And so yes, the trumpet sound. And then of course his laugh was just one of my favorite sounds in the whole world. And he was the king of adding a button to the end of a scene. You know, we'd be doing a serious surgery scene and he would add something completely silly to the end of it, you know? And always with a laugh. Those are the fond memories. You know, he was so silly and so funny. And yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that all of your cast members felt the same way. There seems to be this general consensus about Malcolm, where he goes. Like it is the same thread, and that's incredible, especially in Hollywood.
And I think that's the other thing I was thinking about. It's kind of, I hate to say it, but I think it is rare to find that in this industry. Somebody who just doesn't seem to really care about the idea of celebrity. You know, he wanted to be. He always came across to me as someone who wanted to be a teacher, and who wanted to make an impact. There was never any surface level conversation with Malcolm. It was always more profound and more meaningful. And like for example, on days where we would have surgery scenes, we would usually have all of the surgery scenes packed into one day. And so they were very long days. And you know, you get hot because you're in all the surgical gear and you get kind of cranky. But he never really did. And I remember he talked about how he approaches each day with gratitude because he had gone through times in his life and in his career where there wasn't a job, where he didn't have the work. And so he knew what it was like to not have that, and in turn made him grateful for when he did have it. And that was something that I'm always gonna carry with me, and it would be something I'd have to remind myself in moments where I would feel a little like tired and I wanted to go home and be like, no, I need to be grateful that I am here today. And I'm always gonna carry that with me forever.
That's wonderful. Jessica, thank you for your time.
You're so welcome.
Sharing all of that. We really appreciate you this evening over there in California. Wait, no, you're in Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right, you gotta be that. All right, we appreciate you. Thank you for wanting to be part of this.
Thank
Of
you.
course, thank you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
That was beautiful. One of the things she said, you know, the gratitude, and that's how Malcolm started his day with gratitude and the 10 things he's grateful for, and it's gratitude walks. So
that's right. It's gratitude walks. That's right.
Yep.
Good morning walks. You come in and say, oh, you know, or sometimes we'd be in the middle of a show at the beginning and say, oh, you know, I got up this morning. It's a gratitude walk. You know, that's a big deal. It was just a wonderful day, a wonderful way for yourself would seem to have a really. If Dr. Barnett or anyone else is popping in, LeBron, just popping in wherever, you will adjust to the folks.
Yeah, we had someone in the green room who just stepped out, so they might have to pop back in. But you want to try to pull up another Zoom call?
Sure, let's hear that. Yeah, let's hear from the audience. Yeah. Sometimes people start the show, remember y'all, let's start every single show with what's good.
What's good?
And sometimes I feel like it's 2025. Okay, I don't have to work a little hard on what's good, but he would always encourage, nah, there's something good.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to, also, we're, this is live on YouTube as well, guys.
Yes, it is live on YouTube. It is live on not all new channels. There's a link to get in. Oh, do I see a Dr. Is that a Dr. Black?
Dr. Daniel Black.
Dr. Daniel Black. I'm not sure if he knows who that he is on, but for anybody who is familiar with Hidden in Plain View, heard about Malcolm playing the trumpet. Malcolm also taught himself to play the bass, okay? And we know, right, because y'all have been to some of these shows, he can play that bass like it's born. So he taught himself the trumpet, taught himself the bass. And the reason I mentioned Dr. Black is because Dr. Black was on his album, but as well, he's been a mentor to Malcolm for many, many years. So much so, he wasn't invited on the podcast. Not once, right, Troy? Not twice. But 3 times, okay? So we know that this was someone who was highly respected. I think Dr. Black is trying to get his bearings together. We're gonna work on we know that he is here with us now, like we get situated. Maybe I will text him in time.
Let's text him, but we can run his video while you text him, so then it can be pulled in.
All right, yeah, let's see, because as we said, he's been on the show 3 times, so we definitely have some video, and you can see why this has such a profound effect.
Yeah, so tell me, Dr. Black, I fucks with you. Right.
My bad, let me pull it up.
All right.
Yeah, so tell me, Dr. Black, I fucks with you. Right. With me?
Like that? With those words?
But what's so brilliant, and the reason I use this is because every time students have said it, they're horrified, right? They're absolutely horrified that they offended me. Like, oh, no, I was really saying that you my boy. This is my favorite class. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I said, brother, I knew what you were saying.
And my mother was like, I don't care who pays the bills, I'm still the mama. So I wash dishes. So the first time I was able to find a place that had a dishwasher, we had a place with a dishwasher. I still load up the dishes. But all of those chores, like that stuff did not change. My mother was very clear that nothing changes around here.
I love that.
And that obviously that has served me.
Absolutely.
And again, that kind of order.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at my journey and my path and where I am, like that kind of order.
Right. And that answers your question. Then when we circle back, and that is your daughter has got to wash those same dishes. Right. If we're gonna get the fruit out of her, then we get out of this. So I tell my daughter,
I'm gonna put this part on loop.
Every time I hear that, it just makes me think of Malcolm, because I can't tell you
Right. That's right. We would be on meetings and
Yeah,
Malcolm
you know,
would
sometimes Dr. Black, I fucks with you. Right.
Yeah.
All right. I saw the big doctor getting ready, but yeah, and you know, the theme that we also were talking about that before, you know, is his daughter, right? You know, just those cherished moments. You know, I remember one night he said, you know, my daughter loves to, you know, sleep out in the backyard on the tent and watch the stars. So tonight we're going to be going to do that, and it was just wonderful to hear just everything that his daughter was doing and how he was so present in her life. Very private about his family. Y'all remember the couple of times where she just couldn't help herself. She would come in and she drew a picture of all of us. When she made a presentation, it was like, I drew a picture. He was like, all right, it's a lost battle. Let me put her up on my lap, let her show her picture, explain some good drawings. So she did that a couple of times too. So talk about that.
The times I remember too is when Malcolm would walk away to go do something, and she would just pop up from the bottom and just be on the Zoom.
Right. Just pop up. All right, I see Dr. Black. Dr. Black. Here. We are getting Dr. Black's home.
Dr. Black, can you see us?
There we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm trying to get away from this noise.
I see.
Hold on. I know.
Hey, listen. We will wait for the man who was on the show 3 times.
Oh my goodness. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes. Now, Malcolm would say, oh no, you're gonna wait for Dr. Black because you were revered, you are his mentor, you are someone who highly respected, and you know he transitioned us all in with you, and you know it was really beautiful. I know that your insight is really going to take us to the next level about this impact, not just on the world, which is what we're dealing with, but just on kind of the cultural trajectory that he's a part of. They brought that to his family and his work at all times.
Yes. Well, you know, I'd say a couple of things, and thank you all for including me in this platform, and it's very healing. I'm so grateful, and to all those who are listening, thank you all for gathering, because in moments like this, we as African people, the strength of who we are is in each other. None of us carries the kind of strength to bear this kind of burden alone, right? In our distress, we gather, because in gathering, we find power. And there are 3 quick things I'd like to say about Malcolm. One of those is that Malcolm believed in the power of the word. He believed in the magic of poetry. He believed in the power of literature. He believed that words have life. The words have life force. And he absolutely believed that the person who could put words together was a person who could construct reality. He believed that a person who knew vocabulary, who knew the expanse of the human tongue, was a person who possessed the power to create, which is why he was always playing with words, right? And so in my head, you know, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and that Word was Malcolm. And it always moved me how he absolutely believed that if we could say a thing right, that the words would do a work that human beings and human beingness could never ever achieve. The second thing that I think is so beautiful about Malcolm is that he absolutely honored and worshiped a thing called fatherhood. In fact, the way we met, Malcolm's mother, your Mama Pam, read a book I wrote called Perfect Peace. And she told Malcolm about it. He called me, etc. And we started talking, and Malcolm was asking me about fatherhood and about, you know, how fatherhood works and what wisdom might I give him about being a father. And what was so is he was already an excellent dad, right? But he was trying to figure out how to have no flaws at all as a father. He wanted to give his daughter a father that was so excellent and so pristine and so magnificent that she would find no fault in him. And as a black man, I thought that was just the most remarkable thing, that a young black girl would get to grow up and say, I was raised by Christ. You know, somebody who was so careful about how he treated me and what he said to me and how he loved me and how he honored me and how he honored my mother, right? His wife. And so Malcolm's commitment to fatherhood, I think, was something to me. I think it was literally something out of this world. And then the third thing that I want to say, which I think is so very, 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 very important, is I think Malcolm transitioning in the water is so unbelievably symbolically important. I think it's so important, and to have done so in the ocean, where for all practical purposes our first ancestors reside, those who were thrown overboard or those who lost their lives in the Middle Passage, right? In my imagination, those ancestors gathered and met him in the water, right? And literally dressed him and told him that he was needed in a realm greater and higher up than this realm. And so for me to understand what really has happened here and to really come to terms with knowing who Malcolm is, I think Malcolm thought of all of us. I think he literally thought of all of us on this platform. I feel like he thought of his mother and his daughter and his wife. I think he thought of all of us. And having been convinced that he could be more useful to us in the invisible, I think Malcolm surrendered. And what that means is he loved us. See, it's not just that he was a nice guy. He was that. He was that. He was absolutely that. But he loved us. And I think, this is just my own feeling, I think Malcolm loved us so much that he agreed to go in order to move things in the ancestral realm on our behalf while we were yet in this realm. I believe that. I believe it. It took me a minute to get there. But I absolutely believe it because I think his love for us, his love for black people was so extraordinary, just so remarkable, that I think his movie was absolutely positively a decision to love us. And we'll see it. We will see it. If we'll keep our eyes open, we'll see the fullness of it. And so I honor you, Brother Malcolm. I love you. I lift you up and I magnify you. And I thank you. I thank you for what I know and what I don't know. But what I do know is I thank you. Thanks, girl.
Listen, I want to say one thing. I think we have seen so much of it already. You know, I was speaking to someone, a reporter, and she said the story, when they posted it, got 4 million views. That was bigger than a royal wedding.
Wow.
Just shocked. But it speaks to the impact of what you're talking about, how people are understanding and realizing the message that he was giving, because it was strong. It was so strong. If you were in his presence, you knew exactly what the message was.
Absolutely. And thank y'all for giving me space on the platform. This helps me, and it helps to heal me. So just thank y'all tremendous. Love you.
All right, thank you. I'll be back. Good to see you,
Appreciate
Doctor.
you,
All right.
Dr. Thank you, Dr. Black.
See ya.
Yeah. I know that we have other people that want to speak. I know that the three of us could. Now we've got stories for days, but we're going to give people the chance to speak. I've got a lot of people that have been DMing me, texting me, and really I want to hear from other people, because my story with him, has been shared in different magazines and all that. So it's not about me on this night. We're all just kind of managing the folks who want to speak. So, Laurent, I don't know if we have anybody else here.
No, we don't have nobody else in the queue right now, but you can
Not
go
right now.
flip the Zoom. I can
Yep.
All
try
right,
to pull the Zoom up.
let's pull up a Zoom. Let's pull up a Zoom.
Was
Yep, Malcolm will truly be missed. Made an impact on everyone he came in contact with. Toyera, that is the truth. You know, we have seen it. We have seen it. All right, as we bring up someone, we were going into our second year of the interest had really grown, Troy, and you know, Troy, I know you're African American studies, right? That's your and I just want you to speak to just kind of why you think the podcast, which again came from Malcolm, why you think it resonated with so many people, especially to hear it through his voice that wasn't Malcolm's.
I think kind of similar to like what Dr. Black just said. Like when we gather in numbers is just powerful. You know what I mean? I think being able to have a platform where we could speak about what we wanted to talk about while also not saying anything bad and just be 100% us was very important and is very important. Like it's good for the platform we have because we're telling stories that aren't told off. Usually, you know, like you the road that Malcolm wouldn't take normal roles and identifiers of us as a people. So I think having a different conversation and one that people could picture themselves having at the living room, dining room table is very important.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw that, Lane. As we work through guests, as we work through people with real intentionality about what he wanted the show to look like. Because here's one thing that we know about Malcolm, that he believed in legacy, knew the torch that he carried, and was not going to mess with that. I don't care how many times I suggested some other shows where people weren't in, you know, they were playing all, you know, they were in all different types of roles. He would just say, no, I would never be on that show. I'm not interested. I don't care. And I actually have to fight it.
Respectfully, though.
Some of these shows have some good writing. No.
But respectfully. It was always respectfully though.
Right. Respectfully. Respectfully,
but
what
no.
you're watching is bringing down the black race. I'd be like, respectfully though.
yeah. Yeah, I think Tori that's on something that.
Yeah. We have somebody in the queue.
I don't see anyone.
No.
Well, no.
Okay. You don't.
No, Zoom. Well, I do have a question somebody asked. They said, are you guys going to keep the podcast going?
Absolutely. The podcast this is the conversations we were having about community. It was big. That was the thing, right? It was the first of all, we were supposed to be. We feel like we're in our living room, right? We're talking about the Black experience. We're opening up the floor for the Black experience. We want to talk to everyone. There are 47 million Black people in America. We wanted to actually live each person's experience. We wanted to hear everyone's voice. So are we going to keep this going? This was part of Malcolm's legacy, creating room for our voices and our stories and collective growth. So, so we invite everyone to please stay engaged and subscribe to the conversation, join the conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think about what he would want, how he would want it. I think he would be on a yes to continue it. I will say I will have to have more internal conversations in and around it. It's just, it's just a process, because of going through the grief and I have not fully thought about it yet. But I know how important this creating a narrative is when we have choice. He would explain it that, when we create these narratives about Black people, we allow for greater humanity because we allow for other people to see us in a different way that they may not have ever seen, may not have ever interacted with someone of color. So that now you tell a story that they're identifying with by clicking the channel or on a podcast, that helps them see the humanity in someone else. And that is the power of storytelling. We were always talking about storytelling in some way, whether you were telling a story, whether it was a story that you saw, we talk about Broadway plays, movie suggestions, there'd be a running list that we would share with each other about shows that we thought embodied what we wanted to see more of growing up. In that clip that we heard earlier, he said, that there was just such a dearth of Black people on TV that we were just so thirsty for anybody on TV. We would have taken anything. But in 2025, we don't now it's just
I have a quick pivot if you guys are up to it or not.
Sure.
Instead of Zoom calls, we might take phone calls.
Sure, absolutely. Let's do that. We really just want to hear the voice of folks, so let us do that. Let us do that.
Let me try to set it up in the back end, and while I do that, you guys can
Sure. And we appreciate people hanging out with us. This is the first time that we have all spoken collectively like this kind of enormous feeling of joy, right, Troy? As opposed to, well, this headline said this, and this headline said that. And it was just distressing, and it really is not what Malcolm represented in terms of these headlines and thinking in that way. Very consuming, but this is the real story. This is the story that Malcolm, definitely would have wanted to be told. Dr. Black was right. I remember Malcolm said to me, I really do hope, because I would talk about my father a lot. He passed a while ago, 5 years ago, but in here, and he said, wow, you know what? I hope that my daughter, just like Dr. Black said, I hope that my daughter reveres me the way that you revere me then. Oh, I hope that's much. He was like, I want to get his fucking dad trophy. Watch it. Really, it really was grounded. So he really loved it.
Oh, real quick, someone asked how you guys are doing.
Troy, Lane. I appreciate that. I see the message there.
Go ahead, Lane had something.
Surreal. I kind of feel Dr. Black doing it. There's also these ebbs and flows. I'm digesting right now. I'm digesting. I had a lot more colorful language about it earlier this week, but I'm digesting. I really am digesting. Like I said, we spent a lot of time with Malcolm. Whether it was, so it feels like just seeing the three of us on the phone. There's a gap. Because there was always four of us on the phone. Whether it was or texting or going back and forth or throwing ideas. I'd say, I just told someone yesterday. I said, when we got on the call, the work call, when we were supposed to be going through, things we were supposed to digest through the podcast. 70% of the time, it was us shooting the shit, excuse my language, and then the other 30% of the time, we might have got some work, right?
Yeah.
Whether we came in with an agenda or not, right? That's how it went. So, yeah. It takes a lot for me to be speaking.
Yes, it does. That Troy, I know that I called you this morning just to check on. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. But it's good to share. It's really a collective feeling that comes to share. Just talk about being up.
Yeah, so like you just mentioned, I'm kind of doing. I won't say I'm doing bad or good, but just kind of doing. Like Lane just mentioned, too. I did the math. We've been doing this for about 2 years. There's 52 weeks in a year. We talk at least once a year. That's 100 times that we would talk and just be engulfed in each other's lives, and just processing not being able to do that has been a bit difficult. But I try not to spill that out on everyone else. So I'm just doing and just mentally doing the work, I guess you could say, to make sure that we continue to lift his legacy and do things like this to make sure that we kind of help fill that void that people now have for what he provided. And I think that's the best way I can put it in words.
And it's a process. I mentioned that my dad had passed 5 years ago, but I just took a bereavement class this year because it just wasn't coming together. I just finished it, and so this happened. It triggered a lot, but I had a lot of downtime. But I am glad to be speaking in volumes about him in this way, because that's the big part. The big part was the hope. You're talking about storytelling. That's a good story. Malcolm's story is a good story. There were a few other people who passed this week. One of the headlines was, "We're running through the scandals. Oh, Mr. Hogan." There's not going to be anything like that. That was actually one of the headlines. Here are the scandals of Hogan. I said, I'm going to be a headline like that for Malcolm. It's not here. It's not here. And the weight of what we are seeing now in terms of cultural torch that carries, you didn't see that on. He handled it beautifully. Like, it could have gone either way. But he handled it beautifully, I think, Lane, from day one. Just, let's get to work. Let's get to work. All right.
We have Kimberly in the green room. Can we add her in?
Okay, yeah, let's add Kimberly Latrice Jones, who, friend to the show. Also, people know her as author, social activist, which when her face comes on, you don't know it. It'll connect the dots. So we really appreciate her coming on. Hey there, how are you?
I'm grand. How are you guys?
All right, we are grand to see you. So that Kimberly, yeah, friend to the show. In fact, you were booked to come back on. We were going to see you. Yeah.
I remember, hold on, Candace, real quick. I remember when it happened. Kim was like, she texted me right away, "Troy, I know it's not true. These tabloids are lying. I'm gonna see you guys on Friday." And I almost broke down. I forced myself to laugh, but I certainly almost broke down. I was like, "Oh man, I love Kim."
Right. This can't be true. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is hard for a number of people. And I'm wondering about your friendship.
Yeah, man. Jesus. Yeah, I think this has been the hardest conversation, is having to have this conversation with me. So when I went viral in 2020, I had a lot of people reach out to me and want to make connections with me and want to look guided from me on the social justice journey. But I noticed, and this is my commentary on them, this is just, life. A lot of people by the end of 21, definitely by mid 22, have lost me. So they have been in with me 20 and maybe even some in 2021, but by the end of 21, mid 22, they were no longer in communication with me, no longer were friends of their mind, and they definitely weren't trying to make a deeper connection because the high moment had died away. There's two people that I can think of who, in that moment when they reached out to me in 2020, decided, now you my friend, and I don't know if you know this shit, but you my friend, and this is what it is. Like, yeah, I reached out to you about that video, but you my sister now, so I want to know how you're doing. I want to know as you continue to work for our people, how you're feeling. Are you okay? How can we support you? What can I do? How's your child? How's your life? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to get a drink? Come out with me. And of those two people, Malcolm was one of them. Because he really did care about the conditioning of his people. So making a connection with me was not a fleeting thing for him. It was not the cool thing to do in 2020 when everybody was trying to be woke. It was a genuine connection. And, recently I had a medical issue. I had a seizure, and I made a post in my Instagram stories, and I was just like, y'all, I've had this issue. I lived with epilepsy, for 30 years, and I have not had a seizure in probably 10 years, and now I've had 3 back to back, and I need to get a handle on that and figure out what I need to do. And I know that first steps is dieting and exercising and getting in better health, and that will help me to fight my epilepsy. And the first text message I got, which is the last text message I got from him, was from Malcolm. And
it's okay, take your time. It's okay.
And just the care and the concern, and not just like the lip service care and concern that people give, like the actual, like, what do you need me to do? Do you need me to bring juice to your house? Like, as you're on this journey, what do you need me to do, sis, to make sure you're okay? And his last statement was, because I need you. He was a real friend. And so, yeah, it's just the genuineness of his spirit. And I know people are talking a lot about his creativity, which was so much him and is so beautiful. But the thing that, to your point that you were making before I came on, I love that so much of the content right now is about his character. It's about his character.
Strong character that you could really sense from one conversation. Really good. Genuine.
So genuine. So genuine. And really,
And fun. Yeah. But we talk about the seriousness, and I'm gonna help you with drinks this and all that. But he was funny. He was fun. In case you're off guard, like, what did you say?
I told Lane the other day, I said, I am usually the person who could find the funny when somebody transitions, because that's always been my thing. Even I just gave a eulogy at my best friend's service a couple of months ago, and I started the eulogy by saying they were playing like this sad organ music, and I was like, y'all don't need to play that for me because I ain't gonna be stage. And I was telling Lane the other day, I said one of the things that I'm getting a kick out of, and it is making me cackle, and me and Yanana, I was laughing about it, and I was talking to Lane about it. I was like, yo, my favorite thing right now, all the conspiracy theories around his transition, because Malcolm loved conspiracy theories so much. All the time. And I was like, I saw under one of the conspiracy theories, the people were under there like, this is ridiculous. He's passed on. Cut it out. I'm like, I wanted to comment so bad, but I kept it to myself. I wanted to be like, no, don't cut it out. He would love it so much. But there were so many conspiracy theories about him. I told Lane I found one where they said a mermaid took him. I'm like, he would love that.
Oh my goodness. Kimberly. Oh, you know, it's funny because when I first heard it and I got the call, I said, first of all, I just texted him yesterday, so no. And number two, we have sat in that podcast studio and saw Malcolm when he died twice. He pulled it up. He was right. Saw Malcolm 500 pounds. Malcolm was 500 pounds in a wheelchair and a double amputee. So I was like, I reject, and yeah, no, I'm not sure why you're calling me, but I reject because I've seen him die before, twice.
No, that's why I texted Troy. I was like, they gotta cut this out. This is starting to get out of hand. People actually believe this one.
Leave this, yeah.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna just start going online. I'm gonna make myself a dummy account, and I'm just gonna make up a bunch of conspiracies and spread it around.
You can see now. That's gonna be trending now, Kimberly. Because even I'm like, I gotta get to Google on that one. Oh my goodness! Oh my.
It just gave validation to the person who.
Making us laugh. All right. See you
Love
next
y'all.
time. Okay. See you next time in Atlanta.
That's hilarious. How's Candace?
I dropped Candace by mistake. She got to join.
I was saying that Angela Bush said she
Oh,
said she
there we go.
loves not all hood and asked as you leave the mic on, what is one of Malcolm's legacies that you will continue to impart to not all hood?
I only heard part of it because I got disconnected, so I'm going to return it to y'all.
Angela, I'm sorry, Angel Bush. I said Angela. I apologize, Angel. Angel asked, what's one of the legacies that we continue to impart to not all hood? We'll try not to use the E word.
You know, one of I think I've kind of articulated it a lot, but succinctly, one of the legacies is that, especially with new media, 2025, we all have the ability to shape the narrative. You can pop on and start a YouTube channel right now, and do something good and shape the narrative. And so that platform, the bigger it is, the better. And there are a lot of media companies who don't get as many views as some of the things that we've put out. So we have to understand the power that we have and use it for good. So the legacy is really in kind of the way that I think the way that the media now shapes what people are thinking about culturally, what's in people's algorithms. And so to understand that and to really take it seriously and know that we can shape how people see us literally, that's the legacy that I would like to continue, and I've always my thing is, my joke is if someone has said, hey, have you seen it? I would say, yeah, I've seen it, especially if it's black. I've watched it. I've watched the white stuff. I watch it all, because I'm a big consumer like that. So I know that now there's a role, and there has been for the past, but there have been years in order to All right. LeBron, who do we have? I know that Kim, we thanked her for coming on. Just for those of you who are with us, we've got Lamont Rucker coming up a little later, as well as Isaac Hayes, as well as your voice, to really kind of talk about Malcolm, a collective healing, a collective understanding about Blacks in this world and in America, and what his legacy is to you. I've seen some really amazing posts from people that he's touched, which is really why we wanted to do this. This was one of the last major projects that he was very involved in, right? You know, he had the band, and he had this, and he was appearing on shows, but for the past year and a half, as Troy said, he did the math, and we've spoken to him, at least 100 times working on this. So we know him in a way, and bringing on people that we hope can kind of share a different side of him. We were on the phone just to kind of really bring it down. I don't know if you remember on the phone, and I think one of his pipes busted in the house. You know what I mean? We were on that level. It was just like, okay, just kind of regular talking and work, and oh wait, I think a pipe busted, and like my daughter's birthday is this week. We saw that Malcolm. And then we were reminded, I remember going to New York, talking about regular stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we have an icon. It's something we forget because of his humility until people were swarming around him, and then all of a sudden, Lane, you were like, okay, I'm now bodyguard. I'm now bodyguard. You're like, okay, wait. We pivot, and I'm now bodyguard, and so that was really, that's just really something to be a part of. For him just to, come back, sit down with lunch. It's not like we talk about it. We just talk about regular things, and that's who we want to bring all the things, which is something.
I hear the same through line about Malcolm. It's just the same through line about his authenticness, his goodness, his, so I think you said it best in the quote that, if you thought you knew him in your head, and you really did.
Yeah. LeBron, who do we have that is teed up? I'm really still looking for Dr. J. Barnett. This is someone who really just talks about emotional well-being in the process of.
So we don't have anybody queued up, but I do have it.
Is wrong. I've gotten our guest wrong.
Uh-oh.
Only because you seem like you're so genuinely who you are wherever you go.
Bring it.
Right. So we're supposed to be talking about code switching,
Which is one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like that's your experience at all.
And that's why it's my favorite subject, because it's not my experience, because I don't code switch with nobody. But, I think part of why, first of all, shouts out to Lula, my mother, may she rest in peace. She was like the coldest person that ever lived. Like, my mother was a cold case. Her and my grandmother both. And actually, my next book is about my mother. My mother programmed robots that delivered the mail in the Sears Tower in 1976.
Yeah, that was Kimberly. She was on the show. Like she said, or I think it was Dr. Black who said, Malcolm is also very inquisitive. Really asked questions. I call it the Malcolm pause. He just you're calling someone, you say, did I lose you? You still there? No, I'm just.
That's one of the very first things. Let me tell you, the most prolific thing that I learned about Malcolm is Malcolm always processed and thought before he spoke. And it could be and it didn't have to be some complex thought. He was very thoughtful and intentional around his words. So you hit that on the nose. So that always bring out at the first having conversations with Malcolm, I would always stop and go, I wonder what he's thinking right this very moment. And then you get it, right? Because you don't get it right away. You get it after it's processed and it's thought through, right? So you don't just get fly out the mouth.
That's right. I know that we have, let's see, I'm looking at the timing. If you could, Troy, I know that you have Lamont's information, right? Just want to make sure that he's on tap. Text him. We also have Isaac Hayes that's coming on.
Lamont is he's coming in now.
Oh, okay. Lamont is coming in now. Well, that's some good old timing. Listen, before we roll Lamont, I know that there's some more footage that we have of Malcolm just to run, and you can choose one of those to run before we get Lamont on. I think we probably have some more that we just want to share from behind the scenes with Malcolm before we get to Lamont.
Team, I think I might have gotten this wrong. I have the pleasure and honor of introducing to you our panel guests. I'm sure everyone here in this audience knows Dr. Bernice King. So, is there anyone who walked in late and didn't see the film? Good, we're all on the same page. All right, so the principal herself, please welcome Ms. Nikki Gatton.
Still trying to get over you standing here. Like, all of our childhood dreams have come true, like, right now.
Yeah. We get a lot of that too. Oh, yeah.
Lamont,
how are you doing this evening?
welcome.
Can you hear us okay? All right.
I can hear you. Oh, there you go. Just trying to unmute this thing. What's up? I can hear y'all just fine.
Okay, good deal.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we are. Appreciate you this evening. You on one of our first shows. Yeah, a lot of people love that. Yeah, you were. That was our first recording day. That you came down, shared some stories.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that. I'd have never known that. Y'all look like y'all been rolling for a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, listen, I would say I'm a good actor. My voice is
Right.
I'm a good actor.
Right.
But I know that you certainly cross paths with decades, and I just wanted, we're bringing on people just to share whatever they would like. People are talking about cultural context, personal stories, brotherhood stories, whatever you'd like. The floor is yours.
Man, we talking, 40 years of like, who knows what to bring up.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
You're gonna have to be more specific than that. But
Do you have a story that you think speaks to him as a person? That's what we've really been honing in on. And even when it comes to his acting and the types of parts that he took, he was very, very specific. And I know that that's a thing that we have also talked about in mind, the types of parts that I want to take. I have to be particular because I'm speaking for the masses in many, many ways.
right. Yeah. So naturally, I've been, we all kind of naturally just go down memory lane. Like, I think one of the fascinating things about, if we talk about the miracle of birth, we need to talk about the miracle of transitioning just the same, right? So when you do that, literally, I think not only does that person's life kind of flash before our eyes, but so does our own. And sometimes I wonder what, you know, what other purpose there is sometimes in these times and in these experiences. And I think it is to be reminded of being appreciative of what you have and even what you had, as well as how important it is to really be present, you know, cherish life. Obviously, don't take it for granted, but it makes you think back about all the many different times you laughed or cried together, or, you know, we've talked a lot about the trials and tribulations of of relationships, you know, and you know, I was there for it. You know, we've been through some things, right? So, but it also really sends me back to, like, I can see, like, I have a picture even in my head now of our mothers sitting and talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's these other things, and I was so looking forward to getting our wives together soon and having the kids meet each other, and you know, like, so, you know, just the fact that we didn't have that chance and that opportunity is heartbreaking. But I think I was trying to remember the details of the first time we ever met, and this is something that keeps popping up, even with people that are in your life in however so many different ways. You think back, you're like, one of the greatest questions is, do you remember when we first met? And most people don't remember. Most people actually don't remember, and there's something about that. Either way, I think that's fascinating, and it can speak to the intimacy of your relationship, whether you remember every detail or whether you have no clue when that first moment was, right? Because sometimes you're so present with that person, you don't even remember when that first event, right, happened. Yeah. All the little nuances that were happening within or around you. And then there's other people, because the connection was so significant, you remember every single detail, right? Yeah. So I can see Malcolm's face right now as of, you know, I think he might have been 14, I think, and I was 13, you know? And the irony was that he was actually a special guest. He was like a featured performer in this show that I was in with other peers and classmates of mine. And now some of those people are my dearest of friends. And, you know, again, we've grown up together since those days together. Just the fact that the same, like, it's really as if no time has passed. The same vibes that we had then are the same vibes we have now, you know? And at the time that he was already coming into his celebrity, right? As a young teenager, you know, he might have been relieved even that I was around. You know what I'm saying? I know how it is. Sometimes you go certain places and you're like, man, ain't nothing but women here. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I think there's another dude. It's like, you know, like we could be like that with black folks. You go somewhere, you be like, man, there ain't nothing. Like, oh, what those black folks? You know? Or, you know, it's like, is that a brother? You know? Right. So who knows? He could have been like, yes, you know, like, you know, another guy, like, you know, my age, you know. But similarly, it was, you know, we were all excited to meet him, but then just that quickly, it was just two regular dudes, you know, two teenage boys just kicking it. Now, we had to be on point because we were in a show together. I can't even remember the name of the play, but I think it was it might have been the Warner Theater. Coincidentally, in Washington, D.C. I think it actually might have been at the Warner Theater, because I don't recall it being at the National Theater. And And did he? Yeah. Okay. Um, so anyway, just remembering like just how down to earth. Again, what I'm really speaking to is how down to earth he was, how grounded he kind of already was, right? I think one of the reasons why even the Cosby Show spoke to so many of us was not just for some, it was so different, right? Remember, I don't know, many of you remember, people were like, oh, that ain't black people. Black people don't live like that. They don't make that kind of money. That's not realistic. Again, everything from both parents in the home, all this foolishness, the narratives that a lot of people were perpetuating were that, oh, this is a lie. This ain't real black folks. So one of the reasons why, unfortunately, it was groundbreaking is that it wasn't a demographic that we really saw a lot of, especially in national television, right? But one of the most profound things about the show, I think, is that regardless of their economic demographic, right, was that they were very relatable, regular, down-to-earth, real black folks, right? That would talk to you in a very articulate, educated way. At the same time, held you accountable as a child. There were high standards in this family. The elders were present in part of the equation. The community was diverse. It really did look and feel like most of our environments, right? When people really paid attention. But it was the fact that you could tell that environment, even as a work environment, was the same grounded, down to earth, right, kind of environment that was very similar to the homes and the communities that we were also raised in. So there's been, thankfully, like a consistency, right? That not only our homes and our childhoods, but also the professional environments and the people who set very early standards for us, they helped to confirm and create a foundation that grounded us both in very similar ways throughout our lives, throughout our personal and professional lives. So we kept in touch, here and there throughout our, kind of like college age years, and then I continued to stay in school. And again, I played ball and I did this and I taught, and then we often kind of crisscrossed or we catch each other here and there. But then once I got to LA, and then once I started going to the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, and I think my first official year full force was like 2001. And once we reconnected there, then it was like, boom, we picked up full throttle as if, we had never missed a full-time beat. And by that time, we 30 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Right, different.
And although it's a big leap from 13 to 30, there was still enough connective tissue there. And again, always knowing kind of who your cats are, who your boys are, right? And those people that are kindred spirits on and off screen. And when we had the time to really like spend a week together, and we were together all day, all night, right? And then we started this whole, again, with some other peers, naturally, we were the generation of younger folks that were coming in. And then that was the year we started this whole midnight poetry thing that now is a mainstay of the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem. It was just a weekend then, but we were like, literally, we had to kick people out 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So we were kicking it all day, all night. And then we did this stage reading, and I talked to my man Gavin the other day. The stage reading, and the name of the play, I think, was Cut Flowers. And we killed this thing, man. Got a standing ovation. And again, it was one of those other moments where we looked at each other and we was like, we got some shit here. Like, we need to be doing a little more than together, like, So again, it was just this thing, and there's often an unspoken thing. It's a thing sometimes amongst men. Hold on, son. I hear you. It can be, it was always the kind of vibes where, you could give each other a look, or we might both be getting bombarded with pictures and photographs, and we, share a look, and it'd be like, yeah, you ready to go? Yeah, me too. You know what I mean? or you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Without having to say a word, you know, like, yeah, man, hey, this is what it is. And sometimes even like, ooh, I'm tired as hell, but you know, we're actually fortunate to have this kind of love from our community, this respect from our, you know, from our peers and younger people, and be here, you know, rocking with our elders and on back on that wood, you know, back on the stage, which is where we know it really goes down, right? So there's so many different, you know, and so again, if I were to jump another 20 years from there, then we're in our 40s, you know, right? And early 50s now. And it's like, you know, so it's really a profound kind of arc to just have, you know, been here, then here, then there, then there, then there. And again, part of what breaks your heart is that, you know, we won't have another 20 or 40 years of stories to recall and create together. But these last 40 have been remarkable. And but yeah, just one of those guys. Like I can't think of him without thinking of his smile, of his laugh. I remember how jealous I was that he learned how to play that fucking bass before I did. You know, and it was also kind of like, listen, man, like I'm trying my best not to look like a copycat, but I'm still gonna learn how to play that thing, and then we might be thumping. We might have to thump side by side. You know, I ain't gonna have my chest hairs out and shit. You know what I mean? But I might be rocking a toothpick and something. You know, old school. You know, with my shit like cocked to the side. You know what I mean?
Making
like,
that happen.
And if I don't talk to nobody, just understand, you know, I'm in my shit. You know, like that's just, you know, that's you know, like, so I mean, you know, it's just like all kind of, and we could just be completely silly at any given time. And at the same time, you know, as you all know, he's somebody that was so sharp and cerebral, yet, you know, not so in his head that his heart doesn't work. And we could check each other, we could challenge each other, we could disagree, even though there are a lot of things we agreed on. There was plenty more things that, even if just in the detail and the nuance, you know, it'd be kind of like, yeah, I hear you, mama, yeah, you know, yeah, nah, I love you, but that's bullshit. Like, you know, like there's not always a lot of people, period, let alone a lot of other men that, you know, can really communicate in a certain way with a certain level of again, purity, honesty, vulnerability, even transparency, always love and respect, but we're not the same person, and we might not always see things the same way. And that's good, actually. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually how you should even prefer it, in my opinion. I'm not interested in yes men, you know? So I'm interested in people who have their own brand, who think for themselves. And, you know, if there's something that I don't agree on, that I don't like, you have to prove it to me. At the same time, if I say back your shit up, you might want to be able to back your shit up. You know what I'm saying? and if you can't, I might call you on it, or I'll say, hey, you know, you can't back it up, but you obviously still entitled to your opinion. You know, so we never tried to change each other, which is one of the other things I appreciated. You know, although I do believe in many ways we kind of motivated and inspired each other, even when we articulated it, or even when we didn't. So, and I can't speak for him, and I wish sometimes these are the questions you might actually ask somebody, but that's not really necessary to ask somebody something like that. Sometimes you just kind of know. And again, you know, he might have been more important to me than I was to him. Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, you never know how people really value relationships and friendships, but he articulated it enough, and you know, and we definitely had a relationship and an understanding that I know I'm not fooling myself about. You know, and it was definitely like you know know who not only your soldiers are, you know who the soldiers are, you know? And even if and when some real shit hits the fan, who's not tucking their tail and who's going to do the very best they can to, you know, to stand up and fight, you know, and shout and take care of themselves, but not necessarily, but not only take care of themselves. You know what I mean? Self-preservation is key, but there's some, you know, when shit really hits the fan, the only thing they're gonna do is look out for who shares their last name. All right, give me her.
Right. And you know, on that note, with your son, I know that you had some serious conversations about fatherhood, but I was especially because I think it's a nice way to bond since you talked about fatherhood. I think that was lovely to see. So Mama, thank you. Thank you very much this evening for adding a lot of color because you took us back over 40 years. Two young kids who grew up and still respected each other.
Yeah, big dreams, just, you know, big dreams at that time. And y'all gotta remember, man, looking back, you know, it's easy to assume and to think that, you know, we would be in the faith that, you know, we've been in, right? Even from a professional career, you know, if you want to look at that, like the career success, right, or whatever that we've had. But think about it. At 13, anything's possible. You could have never seen his face again after that show. You know how many people we've seen on one show, you never saw him again? You know what I'm saying? How many, and for all the numerous reasons that could be the case, right? So there's no guarantee that we would, you know, would there still be some, you know, a level of immortality, if you will, right? As we say in serial television, when your shows just like will continue to live on forever, likely, but also there's a lot of things and a lot of people that to some degree have been forgotten. So I think it just says a lot about the real texture and character of a man and of our brother in particular, where the ability to sustain and even to transcend a role that sometimes people can only see you as this when they see you, and that's very hard as a young actor to be able to move beyond that. And that's one of the things that I've always, you know, thought was, you know, not only very fortunate in that he was privileged to have, but that I definitely believe it was a reflection of him, not just his favor, but of how special he was. Because that doesn't happen for everybody or you know, or for all of us. And you didn't really see or know my face till significantly later. I just took a different route. I didn't get to come in to the industry, you know, with full-fledged as a teenager, even the hot boy in my 20s and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
you know those pilots.
You know,
sometimes they're
I missed those phases. Hey, and I'm actually happy that I didn't, because there's a lot of people that flamed out, got exploited, got fooled, got tricked, got sucked up, spit out, you know, all of that. So I'm glad that I actually took my time, and to some degree waited my turn, and at the same time didn't wait for shit. I kicked the door in when I was ready and when I felt prepared and equipped. And a lot of that was not just as much professional development as it was spiritual, emotional, and, you know, character development. So, and, you know, I think that's why we're still, you know, standing. Love came to us late. Like I said, like we said, parenthood came to us late. But again, I'm glad everything and everybody does things in their own way, in their own time. So I'm happy for the delays that I've experienced. You know, I think they're for good reason, and it teaches you discipline and patience and diligence and all of those things. So, so yeah, man. You know, glad I could pop in, and I hope y'all keep Not All Hood going in some form or fashion. So, you know, if I can be an asset to whatever you all pivot to or however you continue things, but I would hate to see, you know, that product, that production, that concept, and also just the community that I think you all have established a really, kind of a nice, you planted a strong seed, and I hope you can keep the wheels turning.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being a part of that ride from the beginning that got those wheels turning. From Mount Ruffin, we will see and speak to you soon.
Very
All right, sounds good.
All
right, love.
Appreciate you.
Man. Keep your head up.
Yeah.
You know it. Always. You know what I'm saying? It's just more motivation. More motivation, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Make lemons out of lemonade.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Rucker. Good to see you. We are going to move on with people to somebody from the community. Ron, who do you have for us? How shall we proceed as we wrap this up? I know we're going to go over those people.
Yeah.
Hang on, because
We have Isaac Hayes is in the green room as well.
Okay, listen. Why don't we let's roll a video, because I know we put together a few videos and there's some that I don't think we've seen, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna play my favorite one.
Okay. I wonder what that is.
I do too.
I'm feeding for another taste of your brown skin.
I had a feeling that was going to be good. I don't lay this smile.
That Bucheco is such a vibe. Oh my God, that Bucheco is crazy.
That Bucheco is like, let me tell you, I used to say all the time, if you have not gone to Bucheco to see Malcolm and the band play, they are phenomenal. They honestly, they keep the vibe going for hours and hours and hours and hours, and it'll go from one song to the other. It's a small space, but they make it feel like it's really huge, and the rotation just happens all night. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, for people who missed it, that was Bucheco. I happened to catch one the last time I was there, May 1st. Forced myself to go because I was far away, but I said all the stars of mine, and you're right. Just people loved it. They lined up. It was a whole vibe, and you can see Malcolm married to that bass, like like he was born to play it. Really amazing. He mixed all types of songs. T.C. Carson was there performing the night that I was there. And you never know who's going to come out on that stage. That he again provided another stage for people into the circle. And after, he took in all the people, all the things, missions and things that we were talking about all night. But there's a really good transition to go to Mr. Isaac Hayes III, who we know. Look at him. Look, we know he's professional.
Look. I knew he was going to be produced. Super produced.
Super produced. Hey, Isaac, how are you?
How are you guys? How you doing?
Doing well. Listen, we've been talking about Malcolm the Man. Thank you so much for being with us today. I know that we had a lot of things lined up with you, which I won't go into, but you did come on the show. Your show is going to be, an amazing show. But I also know that speaking to you, you talked about the cultural context in which Black people are really the leaders in so many things, and I'm sure that you have a very interesting lens about Malcolm in that particular cultural context and how he moved through the decades to kind of this place where we are now. We're seeing how he was just.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, let's see how you guys are doing. We've been in contact, but I know you guys are a close-knit group. Even being in that environment for the time that when we filmed our episode, it was just great to see you guys and people, owning their destiny and making content and creating something that they felt was needed, which absolutely is needed and still needed for Black people. When it came to Malcolm, one of the things that I'm really big on in our community is honoring our icons. And I think a lot of times we move on from people that are so significant in Black culture because we are so innovative, but we don't really think about the impact, the lasting impact that, Cosby Show and Malcolm's character had on our community. I grew up in that era. Malcolm was a little bit older than I am, but he is that individual that is part of America's Black family. The cousin or brother that you always know and have always known. And when you see them doing well and doing things, you look up and say, like, they're still living the life and living up to the character that they displayed as a child. And I think it's really something to talk about, Malcolm, because in Hollywood, it's such a very vicious game. And I love the fact that he made it through that. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of young child stars don't. The things that show really navigated, through to adulthood, achieving and following their dreams. And Malcolm was one of those people that did that. When it came to not all hood, and I think that this is important is because when we think of the idea of what a Black person is, we've not always been in control of that in pop culture and the media. We've not really been able to decide who dictates that because we don't really control the distribution of our content in a way that we get to decide how people see us. And so I understood immediately why this podcast was important, because ironically enough, I think our episode came about and I remember that we were going to save it for the show. Is that he was like, Black people are not a monolith. My response was, you should be, for a reason. And I understood what he meant because the way that we're portrayed, he understood that I live up to the idea, or I live up to the truth of what Black people really are, as opposed to what Hollywood or the music industry or narratives that spin on about us try to tell us as. And that's something that we really need to be proud of collectively as Black people, and understand that that's Black icon. The episode with Keisha and Malcolm, I was really glued to that episode, the premiere of season 2, and I really loved to see the exchange between them as brother and sister in real life, and how those are just two people that wound up growing up to just be really good people. And I think that we don't ever have a conversation enough about the good people
are attracted to the drama and the scandal and the tea and all those things. But I think Malcolm lived a life that was extraordinary to be admired. Again, your earlier guest was like, when did you ever hear Malcolm Jamal Warner ever getting in trouble? Like, not. And the funny thing about that is that you expect that from people that have success in Hollywood, that grow up around celebrity, especially at a young age. And I was really struck by that in the time that we got to spend together. And I'll say at that time, when we did that show, that was a really tough time for me. But even before then, with what I've been building with Fanbase, I know who my allies are, and Malcolm was and will always be an ally to what we're building, because those people that understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build and what you're trying to be a part of and what you're trying to represent. And I appreciate him for that, because that conversation was needed at a time for me where my faith was being tested in ways that people probably don't know, because doing these things are kind of hard, and you really wonder, do people really have your back and understand and really care about what you're doing? And Malcolm, showed that to me.
And I think just the way you talk about just the way that Black people in America and how they're a mover, shaker of things culturally in America, like nothing is successful without us. I'm just really wondering what you think about his impact in that regard, because of his community, because it is, as we see, so
Well, let me say this. Black culture is such a powerful thing, and you don't really have the opportunity, again, to control our narrative, say that. I speak highly about this show in particular because we need more voices in shows like this. I know, again, that there's more to our community than a lot of the things that we are entertained by, but a lot of content doesn't get the opportunity to be seen, and there's a lot of conversations that our culture need to have, and this platform was giving a perspective, and is going to continue to give a perspective. I know you guys are going to continue to give a perspective that we need to hear at all times. Also, personally, I'm growing up in life, and I want to say that I took a lot of what Malcolm was saying in that episode and after the episode and what he was doing. We talk about that for a second too, because everything that's gone on in the last week just caught me so off guard, because I just celebrated my 50th birthday not too long ago, and when I did you guys a show, as soon as the show was over with, Malcolm gets up and starts doing these stretches, like these poses, right? I know you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and he's unapologetic. It's not embarrassing or nothing, because it's like, these are some weird poses. Like, he's really just doing some stretches. He's like, he's doing it. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, listen, it's like, the key to physical longevity is flexibility and muscle strength, right? And really stretching is just a really big thing that people don't realize, that really gives you physical longevity. And I was like, I'm gonna remember that. Like, I'm serious. I'm for real, right? So this is a true story. Last Thursday, my back starts hurting me. For real, I'm like, I don't ever have no back pain. It's not anything like that. But I'm like, oh man, I hope this is not what 50's like. All of a sudden, your tires give out on you. You know what I'm saying? So I remember what Malcolm said. Start stretching. So I really had a rough 3 or 4 4 days, like to the point that I don't have very many sleepless nights, but Sunday, like all Sunday night, I did not sleep, but the stretching is really what helped me. And crazy that I met Malcolm like at this time in my life where, you know, we have to take care of ourselves. To the black men out there, you know, that's something that Malcolm taught me, is to care for our bodies. I don't drink, you know, smoke or anything like that. But I saw like he's physically fit. I was like, yo, you know, look good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I need to really be mindful about that and just what I'm doing. And so I took that with me. Like, and so when I got the news, I was like, that just the most bizarre thing to really have someone on your mind like that in a way, and then you hear something about them like that. And I know we've been talking about, you know, even our episode, because that was one of the most, I guess, kind of cathartic conversations that I've been able to have, because you guys caught me off guard. I'm like, are we recording?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You never know. We just like to get in that conversation.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I'm talking like, when did the podcast start? Like, we started.
Yeah, sir.
We're having this whole conversation, so it doesn't feel like a podcast. It just feels like dialogue between black people that really need to be able to have those type of conversations. So it was cathartic. It was inspirational. It was really needed for me, and it was educational at the same time. And I think, you know, we left that conversation, you know, changing our mind about a few things in ways. I know, because again, I'm glad that Malcolm got to experience Atlanta and the blackness that this city has. I saw when Keisha was talking about that, he's like, oh, it's just temporary. I'm like, Atlanta don't really work like that on you. Once you get around down here, and you kind of see like your people in the way that you know that we are in positions of power and brilliance and art and class. It's like, I think I might want to stay a little bit longer. And before you know it, then it kind of wins you over. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you got to experience the blackness of this city, because I think that's something that he really enjoyed. And I really appreciated our time together, and I'll never forget, like, you know, that time that we shared.
Isaac Hayes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those words. As you know, the episode, folks, has not been released, so we're going to make that a big one. We got to get back on Fanbase for live watch. We really appreciate all of your help with those live watches too. And so to see, I actually called you and told you that, you know, we were texting about you, so I gave you the message that he gave for you. And we will continue as part of the show, part of that. So
we certainly appreciate you.
Yeah.
You've texted me, you've called me every day since, man. And I appreciate you for real. Like Candace just said, you're part of the family, you're part of the game, and we appreciate you, dude.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I tried my best when I called you, and then when I broke down crying, I said, oh wait, I'm not trying to make your day bad. You said it's okay. So I thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, we will be in touch on a lot of levels. Isaac Hayes III, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Right. All right, as we move on, listen, I know LaRon, what do you got for us? Because I know that we are, it's all LaRon's hands at this time. You know, we're closing out the show in a few minutes. Do we have somebody who might want to speak with us, or maybe even a video? You know, like I said, we collected.
Yeah, we can do a video. I could put the phone number up.
Yeah, put the phone number up.
In.
Why don't you run the video?
Okay.
Can you run the video while we put the phone number up? Let's hear from a couple more people before we exit. Thank you to Roland Martin Unfiltered while we are at it. We are on his platform. We are also on another show on his platform too tonight. So the phone lines are now open to join the conversation. Let's do a little bit of that. I think this is yeah, I think
You know what we didn't talk about?
What did we not talk about?
We didn't talk about Malcolm's love for LaRon. How do we just bubble over that?
Shout out to broadcasters at Broken Traditions, and Wins and Lessons.
Yes.
No problem. And something was on my heart. Like, let me call Troy, see if y'all need help. And boy, did y'all need help. I was.
Yeah. The whole back show. Hey, listen.
It's all good. It's all
Watch
good.
his podcast. Watch his podcast. Both of them are.
Yeah, say his name of his podcast one more time. Broken Traditions, right?
Yeah.
And Wins and Lessons.
And Wins.
We got a caller coming in. Give me 1 second. Let me set this up. Make sure this caller not some spam call or something like that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then back. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just remember when we brought up Ron's podcast, and I told Malcolm to take a look. Again, right? Usually it's a whole bunch of dialogue between all of us, not just Malcolm. And he looked and was like, "We have to do this guy." You remember? He was like, "He did the episode I wanted to do."
Yeah, that's what he said. He did the episode I wanted to do. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. When he knew, he used that phrase a lot. It's funny because when Isaac was mentioning stretches, I remember Malcolm, and I saw him on the ground like this, with his arm out. And I looked down at him, and I was like,
"Hey guys."
I said, "Hey, Spider, what are you doing?" Yes.
We have Michelle in Southwest Georgia coming in.
All right.
Let me try to get her on the line. Let's see.
Okay, welcome.
Hello? You guys hear it?
No.
Not really.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, how about now?
Have her say a little something.
No, she's talking right now. I don't know why it's not coming through. Give me 1 second.
Okay. That's no problem. We're gonna take
Okay, yeah. Can you hear it now?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm actually watching them visually. Okay.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
It's in Bucum increased to be on tonight. May we lay to rest our Bantu Royal Junior King, Malcolm Jamal Warner. When the man was on earlier, and he made the comment that a lot of people couldn't family, I lived that lifestyle. I was born in 1955, and I grew up at the street right off of Benjamin E. Mays Drive. And Dr. Benjamin E. Mays lived 1 block from me. When the fall season would come in, I could look right out my backyard, right into his backyard. There were doctors, lawyers, teachers, nurses. My late aunt, she worked for the first black doctor on Auburn Avenue. In 1974, he would give the first $20,000 to start Morehouse Medical School. That was the late Dr. James B. Harris. I'm connected to Titus Flowers, my great cousin, and my great aunt would marry Martin Luther King's mother's first cousin. So I went to Southwest High School class of 1973, right here off of Linfield Drive, where I live now, and off of Benjamin E. Mays. We lived the Cosby dream. We literally lived it. We witnessed everything from the Jim Crow era to my grandfather was murdered in 35, and he was the second richest black man in historic city, and he would be murdered down there at the Georgia Power Plant. He would be on his wagon selling fruit. I don't even want to give the horrific detail of how he lost his life.
Can I ask you your name again? What's your name again?
And I am very deeply honored to have the opportunity to share my testimony. I'm Michelle Flowers of Southwest Atlanta, Georgia.
Michelle, I want to thank you so much because I think what you said resonated with a lot of people who saw the Cosby Show and saw themselves in it. And just hearing from someone in your age group especially means a lot to show how many people across decades found love. Okay? So we really appreciate your call today and sharing your story.
Thank you, Michelle.
Unknown caller.
Okay.
We got another caller. If you guys want to take another call.
Okay, sure. Let's take one last call. I mean, we went a little over, but that's okay. We always go a little over on the podcast anyway.
We always go.
Always.
Oh, just a little bit more.
Candace, you're muted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see who we have. And I was just thanking everybody who's joining us
Hello.
today. We have somebody?
Might be a bill collector.
I didn't know you guys.
Hey, LaRon, we have somebody. All right, I
You guys can hear?
we can
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't get to call his name. I'm so sorry. I was trying to do like 5 things at the same time. Can you hear me?
No, my name is Angel.
Angel.
Hi, Angel. How are you?
Hi, Angel.
Wonderful, thank you. Hello, am I on?
Yes, you are. The floor is yours, and we're looking forward to your comment as we wrap the show.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to say that everyone has said how authentic Malcolm was and he was, and I had an opportunity to contribute on a podcast when podcasts weren't where they are now at the BET Awards. And I just want to say he hugged with his whole heart and he transferred such positive energy to people. And I am just saddened by the loss, but I don't for an actor. I remember him as an actor. And I'm just so moved by all of you and the bravery and courage that you guys are showing us. And I'm looking forward to Not All Hood. And I just encourage everyone to listen to his song, I'm Ready, from his Selfless album. And I want to thank you all just for saving space for us to have this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that with us as well.
Thank you. You all have a good night.
Good night. Thank you for being a part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, gentlemen, again, I think Troy said earlier, it's a strange call that's 2 hours and over without Malcolm. But it was good to be in a presence like this, and good to feel his presence too, with all of those stories. Let's give each other our final thoughts. Unless, wait a minute, LaRon, don't we have some other video? I remember some video dancing, and he's got, in the fans, in the streets.
Oh yeah, the New York one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I played the New York one.
No.
There's
We
one.
played part of the New York one.
Yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
it's 2 New York ones. All right. I got you.
Okay. Sorry?
You too.
Anybody
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, there's one more new one, and it shows, and as he pulls that up, we began this and we did a press tour, and we had the whole gang that was there. And we went to Sway in the morning, we went to the Breakfast Club, did our rounds with Andre. By the way, a big shout out to Andre, because he helped get out a lot of this for tonight, and has been with us along the way. It's amazing. So as he pulls that out, just a little prep about that fresh run. What do you remember the most about that fresh run as we finished to the focus? Like,
Man, I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, whoa, those were long days too, right? Really.
Yeah.
But the biggest moment, and I think we all choked back on that one, was when Sway was giving him his flowers, and then the tears started coming, and then if you looked around the room, everyone started going. It was like, that was like the strongest moment for me.
Yeah,
All right, I got the video when you guys ready.
I do think Malcolm was not expecting that, and when it happened, when I started, I looked off at Troy, he was going, Kelly was going.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. All the pictures already.
With that being said, we out. Good night.